Nice to see you.
Yeah, good.
Jonathan, how you going, mate? Good, how are you? Hey, how are you, mate? Nice to see you, how are you? All right.
Sorry, you mate.
Here somewhere.
Sorry.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. Obviously, there's a few of you here. Just if you could raise your hands and I'll get round as many as possible. But if you could just keep it to one question each, so it's fair to everyone in the room if they want one. So, since we're in England, I think we should maybe start with you, Julian.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Justin, I just wanted your reaction to the news that James Sutherland has announced he's going to resign, and what do you make of that? And how does that affect you guys?
One, his leadership's been outstanding over the last, I think, 18 or 19 years. I always remember John Buchanan saying that you judge a champion by their longevity, and he's had a long time in the job. I mean, he's done a brilliant job for Australian cricket. He'll be missed. He's an outstanding person, and he'll be really missed at the top for Australian cricket.
Do you guys think, Michael?
Hey, Michael.
Hey, Justin. In your opinion, did what happened in South Africa have any impact on James's decision? He said it didn't yesterday.
No, he's been in the job a long time. I mean, if you go through the corporate world, there's very few CEOs who've been there for as long as he has. There's a few outliers. In a sense, he's been an outlier to be there for so long, but I don't think so. I think he's just he's done a brilliant job. He's set with the recent TV rights deal. I think he's, as I said, he's set a great foundation, and I'd be surprised if that was the case.
Nick?
How did you pick the team up after the South Africa incident, and what's been your message to the players?
Yeah, look, I guess South Africa's a really hard time for Australian cricket, individually and collectively. One of the things we always talk about, one of our values is learning from the past and being number one learners. So as long as we learn from what happened and move forward, that's all we can do. I mean, there's no one in this room who hasn't made a mistake in their life. The boys made a mistake, and they've got a lot of learning to do. We all have. As long as we get better for it, then we'll be okay.
One of the hardest things is always changing culture, isn't it? How do you go about doing that and taking it to a better place?
Yeah, look, I think culture's the buzzword at the moment. Again, I know I'm carrying on with some rubbish here, but I remember Johnny Wilkinson getting interviewed once by Michael Parkinson, actually, and he said, Michael Parkinson asked Johnny Wilkinson, what made you such a great player? And he said, without blinking, you are the changing room that you walk into. And he talked about the great change room he walked into as a young rugby player. So we've just got to create the environment where it's a great change room, where the expectations are high, and all cultures is behaviours. So we've got to make sure our behaviours are really good on the field and off the field. And then you've got that word culture. If we've got good behaviours, then we've got a good culture and an environment for all our young blokes to thrive and become as good a player as they become, and as good a people as they can become.
Dean, then at the back.
Tim, there's been quite a rollercoaster ride of emotion in Australia after what happened in South Africa. What do you expect the reaction is going to be to your players in England from the fans out here, and how do you think you're going to be able to cope with that?
Yeah, we've spoken about this. We think it's going to be pretty full on. We expect that when we come to England all the time. We cop a little bit of a ribbing, and this time we come probably with a bit more reason for them to do it. So, but we've spoken about it. We're looking forward to it. To be honest, it's about coming over here and enjoying playing cricket in England, which is exciting for all of us, and that just adds a little bit of extra spice. And I think it will make it all the more memorable when we go home.
In a way, is it a good thing that your first cricket after that is in England, where the history and that rivalry is so strong, and I guess you'd expect abuse in inverted commas anyway, so is it quite good that you're in this environment?
Yeah, I think so. We've got some guys here for the first time, and I suppose to be jumping straight in the deep end is going to be a great learning experience. We've already spoken about that from Justin, but as I said, we expect that pretty much everywhere we go now, and it's one of the challenges of international cricket, and sides get it when they come to Australia, so it's part and parcel of the game.
The back, then Paul, then Joe.
Hi Tim, Jeremy from Sky Sports. You've been saying that the age of berating and belittling is over. Does that mean effectively that the age of sledging is over, as we've known it for the Aussies?
Look, we've spoken about this. We want to be more respectful of the way we go about it, but we don't think we're going to change, the way we play in a really competitive spirit. The thing that Justin's spoken about already has been the difference between abuse and banter. So certainly we're not going to be silent out in the field, but we're going to be speaking. We're going to be trying to put pressure on opposition teams and opposition players as we normally do. But as I said, there's got to be a respectful element of it, and we know what's right and we know what's wrong. So it's pretty simple, but certainly I'm sure you're going to hear us talking through the stump mic and see us talking on the ground. But it's up to me and Justin and our senior players to make sure that we stay on the side of banter and never go to abuse. And when I'm captain and Justin's coach, it's not going to be acceptable.
It's an interesting word, sledging, because in Australia, sledging's actually a good word. Like, for example, and the guys have heard me say, if I play Uno, you play Uno in England? The card game? Yeah. So if I play Uno with my daughter, there's lots of banter. We sort of sledge each other, but we don't abuse each other. And if I play golf with my mum and dad, we sort of sledge each other. We don't call it banter or sledging, whatever you want. So everyone talks about this word sledging, but there's a difference between banter and abuse. And abuse is no good. Doesn't matter if you're off the field or on the field. There's no room for abuse anywhere. But there's plenty of room for banter or what we call sledging. It's a fun part of the game, and it's actually part of the game. Like I say, playing with my daughter in year, she wants to beat me big time, and I want to beat her back big time. So we have a bit of banter, or what we call sledging, but that's okay. That's all part of the game. But I never abuse her, and if she abuses me, that's trouble,
Who wins that, Justin?
Yeah, she's pretty good. I mean, all Australians are pretty good at it, and we take it so seriously about it. But when we step over, anyone steps over the line for abuse, that's not on. It's simple as that. And there's no line. It's simple as that. So the abuse and banter, or call it sledging, there's a massive difference there.
Paul?
Talking about difference, Tim, I saw an interview you gave in yesterday. You said that some of the banter during the Ashes series was borderline abuse. Was that line ever crossed during the Ashes? I'm thinking in particular in relation to Johnny Bairstow.
Not that I heard, but certainly from both sides in that series and both sides in the South Africa, there was times where it got very close to being abuse. And as we said, that's not what we're about. We're certainly about banter and making our opposition feel uncomfortable or making them feel our presence. But the abuse is no longer part of the way we go about it.
Will you be a bunch of Mr. Nice Guys now, do you think?
No, I don't think so. As I said, we're still coming here to win, and we're still going to be extremely competitive. I mean, that's expected at the top of international sports. So we won't be overly nice. We've still got to have that competitive hard edge, and we're here to win.
Even if we were so nice, everyone's going to still think we're a bunch of roughhead Australians who are going to. That's just how it's going to be, mate. So, whatever way, we'll go about our business really well. We'll behave well on the field and off the field, and then you guys or everyone else will still be called sledging Australians. It's been happening for the last 30 years. So, we'll work with that.
Joe, then John, then two over here.
Yeah, I guess the thing is, Tim, and you obviously weren't there, but the word that people were using in South Africa was not sledging or abuse, because that's in the eye of the beholder, really, where that line is crossed. The word people were using in South Africa was cheating.
Yeah.
So in that context, as Australia's captain, which is an esteemed position in the world of sport, everyone gets that. Are you here to restore Australia's reputation?
I think we all are. Yeah, there's no doubt our reputation as a cricketing nation took a bit of a battering from South Africa, and that was really difficult for the players to come to terms with what had happened and what we'd done. But certainly coming to England now, having a few new faces, new coach, and just being here, getting back into cricket is a great opportunity for us to move on and show the cricketing world where we have made some changes, and again, they're not huge changes that we're making. It's just, I suppose, crossing the I's and dotting the T's on some things that had started to slip over a period of time. And again, being here, getting back into cricket is a great chance for us all to move on.
Have you had to write this down in some sort of team code of conduct, or do you just hope the sort of culture you've spoken about will be sufficient?
We have our values and we have our expectations, and that's really important. We got back to that word culture before. We have to do that all the time. We've got to live those. So we're really clear on, certainly as the coach, and passing on very, very clear what our values are and what our behaviours and expectations are. So in a sense, but the truth is, and I've also said this for 25 years, we can put all the fanciest mission statements and values, and we have the fanciest posters up on the wall, but if you don't live them, they're like toilet paper, mate. That's the truth. So yeah, they're written down, but it's now, the words are irrelevant. It's how we live them all the time that's going to be important.
Two over there.
You're without two of your most experienced players in this tour, obviously without Smith and Warner. How are you going to cope with that loss?
You got a magnificent voice. You should be on radio, mate. Jesus. You should be in the movies. That's outstanding. Well, of course. I mean, in a sense, how do you replace David Warner and Steve Smith's runs and their experience? But the reality is that's where we're at. And it's almost like a cliche, but it's an unbelievable opportunity. If we want to come here and win the World Cup next year, we're going to have really good depth. We're going to have really good competition in Australian cricket. So it's really hard to get into the first 11. So it opens up some opportunities. As I said, it sounds like a cliche, and every coach will say the same thing when you get injuries or people out, but it actually is, and that's what we're selling our players on. This is a great opportunity. It's a good chance for us to build a team, and hopefully if those guys coming back into the team, they're going to come into a really strong team, and the competition for a place is going to be really tough.
Yeah, Tim, in that Wisden interview, I think I'm right in saying that you said while Steve was still captain, you and some of the senior players had spoken about changing your behaviours as a team. It obviously didn't really work for you then. I'm wondering why you think you weren't able to change the behaviours then. What's different now? Well,
yeah, we spoke about it. We didn't act on it, and as Justin said, we're now really clear on our values and our expectations, and that was the problem. We'd had a period of time where we'd spoken about how we'd like to be and what we'd like to be, but we hadn't acted on it. So, as he said, it's simply living our values and living our behaviours and keeping everyone in our group, players and staff, accountable to that.
Last two, Michael, Dean.
Tim, as Australian captain with your team here, what were you like walking on the Lords today and training ahead of the series?
Yeah, we came in yesterday, firstly, but it was great. I haven't been here for about 8 or 9 years when I made my test debut, but I thought one of the things we first did was just walk a slow lap together just to sort of soak it in and the history and tradition that come here, and also sort of had a mention of the World Cup final here in sort of 12 months as I suppose a pipe dream for our guys to continue to work really hard towards. So to come here, there was no one else here, and to soak that up for a little while was great.
Best place on earth, isn't it? Literally, I reckon. Oh mate, what a place.
Bellreeve, bud?
Bellreeve? No, Bellreeve's rubbish. Lords is gold. This is the best place on earth, mate. And what about lunch?
Tim, what about your on-field expectation? Not only Steve and David, obviously your senior fast bowlers as well. Up against the number one day team in the world. Just how tough a challenge is that on the field, and realistically, can you win this series?
Absolutely, we can. Yeah. As I said, it's an opportunity for other guys to come into particularly those batting spots and fill the void. And from a bowling sense, not having, I suppose, our big three here is a really great opportunity for some guys who are probably a little bit better than what people around the world know, to be honest. They've got some really good skills, we've got some good pace, and as I said before, we come here with some real confidence that we can certainly win this. We know the task ahead of us is enormous, and England have been playing some quality one-day cricket for a period of time, so again, it's a great test. We're going to know where we're at, but we don't see any reason why we can't win this series.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good. Dapper as usual.